Hey everybody, happy Friday on this short trading week where we only had 4 days in the market with the Juneteenth holiday this Friday. I wanted to give you a quick update of the three big things that I was watching closely this week and that you probably heard on news headlines. Number one, the most obvious, Iran and the United States have finally reached a deal. Seems like this one's going to stay. It's going to keep going through. We got positive news on Thursday that there were at least 20 oil freighters that passed through the Strait of Hormuz. So we're starting to see some actual movement, some actual ships going through the strait, meaning that hopefully peace sticks for a very long time. It seems like the United States and Iran have come to an agreement on nuclear programs as well as United States action, no more blockades, no more bombings, and hopefully we continue to see that. And we're starting to see that in oil. Oil's come down significantly off the highs. We're down close to $80 a barrel, which should ultimately reflect in the oil prices, which is just wonderful. That's what we want to see, is oil prices coming down and gas prices coming down, which leads us to the second point of the week, which was Kevin Warsh coming out as the first official meeting as him being the president of the Federal Reserve. Now, this was an interesting meeting. Investors initially didn't react very favorably to this on Wednesday. Markets sold off pretty quickly Wednesday afternoon after he came out and had his press conference meeting. The concern was that the Federal Reserve is likely going to increase interest rates before decreasing interest rates. That's what's called a hawkish tone. If you hear hawkish or dovish, dovish means they're probably easing on their cycle, they're lowering interest rates. Hawkish means that they might be increasing the interest rates. What I heard from Kevin Warsh, though, was that they're going to watch the data and that they're basically throwing out any assumptions for the rest of the year. They're going to watch the data and see how it plays out. I think this is really key and crucial, especially when we're starting to see oil prices come down and the short-term inflation we've gotten from the war in Iran should hopefully mitigate. Maybe it doesn't, maybe it sticks around a little bit longer than we want and the Fed has to fight that. But I did like hearing him say, we're going to watch the data, we're going to watch it closely, and we're going to see and make actions from there. The third thing that we keep talking about, but it's on everybody's mind, is the SpaceX IPO continued this week, now open on the market. It's been a really fascinating week. The first couple days, Monday and Tuesday, the first 2 full days of SpaceX being on the market, had a big rally in the stock. It got as much as $210 a share. If we think about that on a practical level, at one point this week, SpaceX was worth more in market cap than Amazon. And at another point, just for a brief minute, it was a higher market cap than Microsoft. Kind of unbelievable on the expectations of this rocket company, which could be amazing, and it could be one of the biggest companies of all time at some point in the future. But then the shares ultimately sold off Wednesday and Thursday, came in a little bit further, down somewhere around 10% or so, maybe a little bit more from the highs that we saw earlier in the week. So you're going to keep watching that one. It's going to be a fascinating one to continue to watch. It also sets up for some of the other initial public offerings later this year that are scheduled, like OpenAI or Anthropic. That's ChatGPT or Claude if you're using those on a regular basis. Those two companies are looking to go public later this year, and you can guarantee the investors, the insiders, the folks that have interest in those two companies are watching very closely what SpaceX does post-IPO. We'll obviously continue to be watching it. Hope everyone has a wonderful weekend out there. Happy Father's Days to all the dads out there.